Speaker, that the Act has fallen short of delivering infrastructure needed to respond to growth. Only 2 IFF Act levies have been established since 2020. This was a piece of legislation developed in a relatively bipartisan fashion, actually, as I say. Started life in the last National Government, passed by Honourable Phil Twyford and friends in 2020. Has not quite worked out the way that people intended it to work out. So this amendment legislation makes some, I think, sensible amendments to allow it to be used more frequently in a cheaper way and in a way with less red tape. So the bill aims to remove unnecessary barriers to using the Act, improve the viability of it, to make the levy development and approvals process simpler and more streamlined. The improvements to infrastructure funding and financing reflects the government's overarching approach of growth paying for growth to enable more flexible provision of infrastructure that responds to development. As I said earlier, what we are trying to do is move to a system where there are abundant development opportunities and the funding and finance required to support those development opportunities is allowed to turn up and is not artificially constrained by artificial constraints on funding and financing in the same way that there are artificial constraints on land supply, which is what we have at the moment. And our future state will move to a world in which the economics of development dictate where and how it happens and when it happens, rather than artificial planning rules, which have held our cities back for too long and are the root cause of the housing crisis that has bedeviled New Zealand for too long, with all of the moral, fiscal, social implications that come from that.